in doing all the interviews with Vinny, I got to really know him pretty well. And he kept asking if I would do his fan club. And, I kept saying to him, well, I'm pretty happy doing the Kiss thing. And at one point, we had taken an ad out for the Kiss Asylum record. And it was a nice tribute to Kiss. It was in Faces magazine. And that, I think it was the same issue or the issue after that, we also did a full page one about Vinnie Vincent. And I had gotten a call from Chris Lent, and Chris was Kiss's financial guy. He was also a tour manager for a while, really nice guy. And he called me and he said, hey, he said, Paul got the new issue of Faces magazine. And he fell out of his chair. And I was like, well, that's great. And he goes, no, that's not great. And then he explained to me it was the Vinnie Vincent ad. And it was like, oh, okay. And, we talked about it. And he explained to me how things are. And it's like, okay, I get it. It's okay to cover these guys, but this is still Kiss. We have to watch where we put the name, the Kiss Force, on different things. And I had a conversation with Vinny about it. And he just kept saying, why don't you come do mine? And then George Sewitt, who I was really getting to know, he had asked me if I would do it. And, George also laid out a lot of the business to me. And I thought, this is really my chance to go from being the regular fan to really learning what the music business was about.
Nice.
And, so I get involved with George and, got involved with Vinny. And this is when Vinny still had Robert Fleshman in the band. Because I remember when Robert had told them he wasn't going to be able to tour with them. He had no interest in that. He was married at the time, had a family. He didn't want to go out and tour. And they had to find a new singer. And I remember George calling me up going, so we found this kid. He's 21 years old. He's out of Las Vegas. He looks like a cross between the Karate Kid and Eddie Van Halen. And I said to him, wow, I said, sounds like this dude, Mark Slaughter, that I know. And he goes, yeah. He says, fucking Mark. And I was like, yes, because I met Mark through a guy that I was a pen pal with, Pat Lucero, who was actually Mark's best friend his whole life.
Yes.
And, so that's how I knew Mark. And in the meantime, Dana had recorded some stuff with Mark to show that he had the pipes to do it. And Mark came in and he became the Invasion singer.
Are you still in touch with Vinnie Vincent or never again since that?
I haven't talked to Vinny, I guess, since probably the last time that they played in Baltimore, which was on the All Systems Go tour. The band, they weren't getting along. There was a lot of there was a lot of backdoor kind of discussions going on because they were going through management things. George Sewitt was no longer their manager, and Vinny wanted another manager, but he also wanted it to be, it was called the Vinnie Vincent Invasion, but it was becoming more of a four-piece machine, kind of like how Kiss is.
Yes.
Where, people knew Mark Slaughter. He was a young guy, good-looking guy. He could sing. They knew Danish drum. Bobby Rock was just a monster on the drums, so they knew all about Bob. And then you had Vinny, who the record company was saying to him, let's tone down some of the guitar solos. Let's take this back a little bit. Let's make it more about the songs. You don't have to play 50 miles an hour in every song to prove to people that you're a great guitar player. Because when you would go to his house and he would sit down and start playing, he would play some really intricate, very jazz stuff. He had a pedal steel guitar. He sat down, he would play that and shake. I mean, the guy was just a massive, massive talent.
Wow.
And his vision was to, be like Yngwie Malmsteen, Eddie Van Halen type of thing. But it's more about the songs and some of the stuff like there's demos floating around of Ashes to Ashes where there's an extra like 45 seconds of a guitar solo in it.
Yes.
And I remember when we all went to New York, minus Vinny, and we went into Electric Ladyland studio, and some of those solos were cut out because the record company was there going, hey, look, we can't have all of this again. You have better songs than what were on the first record, even though the first record I thought was incredible. But I think if you actually took each one of those guitar solos and you strung it all together, you probably wouldn't know what song it was. And the second record, if you took out all those guitar solos and put it together, you knew what songs they were because they were more melodic. They fit to the songs.
Good.
It was a better presentation.
Yes.
And it got to the point where more magazines were calling saying, oh, we want to talk to Mark Slaughter. Because here we have him, with this good looking young kid who could sing, and the girls loved him.
Exactly.
So it's like, okay, well, let's talk to him. The guitar player is great. We want to talk to him too. And, Vinny was writing the songs, but Mark was the front man.